Oz the Wiz. One day, a strange-looking cloud moved toward the little Kansas farm where Dorothy lived with her aunt and uncle. "What is it, Aunt Em?" "Oh, it's a cyclone heading right for our house!" Dorothy was sitting on the doorstep with her little dog Toto. She wondered at the cloud and the moaning sound it made. "Quick! Get down in the cyclone cellar, both of you! I'll tend to the animals!" Just then Uncle Henry ran past the house with a frightened shout to Aunt Em. Dorothy wondered what a cyclone would do. "Dorothy, follow me as fast as you can!" "All right, Aunt Em, as soon as I catch Toto." Aunt Em opened the trap door to the cyclone cellar and started down, her voice shaking with fright as she called. "Dorothy, hurry! Toto, you naughty dog, come here!" But little Toto had become frightened too and jumped out of Dorothy's arms. To catch him, she crawled under the bed. "Oh, what's happening? Ka-choo! Ki-yoo!" Suddenly the floor tilted this way and that. Dust boiled up through the trap door in the middle. Dorothy sneezed. The house whirled slowly around as the cyclone carried it up into the air, above the barns and Uncle Henry. "Don't be afraid, Toto, I have you." Oh. Somehow, Toto slid into the open trap, but he didn't fall far because the air pressure of the cyclone held him up. "There, you won't fall down there again." When Dorothy slammed the trap door shut, the howl of the fierce winds was not so loud, but the room was quite dark. "There's nothing to do, Toto, so we might as well go to bed." Hour after hour passed with no change in the strange twilight and the gentle rocking of the house in the cyclone's top. Oh! Dorothy never knew how long she slept, but she was awakened by a bump, as if the house had dropped to earth. "Oh, this isn't Kansas. Where are we?" "Ruff! Ruff!" Dorothy ran to the door. Outside was a country of marvellous beauty, but so strange that Dorothy caught her breath. "Welcome, Dorothy, to the country of the Munchkins, in the land of Oz." Where is that?" Stepping outside, Dorothy saw 3 funny little people approaching her, with friendly smiles on their faces. "Who are you, please? And how did you know my name?" "I knew because I am a witch, the Good Witch of the North." The little old lady explained that there had been 4 witches in the land of Oz, 2 good and 2 wicked ones. "Now there is only 1 bad witch left. You killed the other one." "Oh no, I didn't!" Dorothy was shocked at the good witch's words. She protested that she had never killed anybody and never wanted to. "Well, your house killed her when it landed. Those are the feet of the Wicked Witch of the East." She was even more shocked when she turned and saw 2 silver slippers sticking out from under the house. "We are all grateful that she is dead. What can we do to help you in return, Dorothy?" Oh, please help me get home to Kansas." Dorothy was suddenly very, very homesick, and she blurted out the first thought that came into her mind. Let me think. Of course, I can't send you back to Kansas." The good witch spun her cap on her nose and explained that she had no power outside the land of Oz, but "Go to the Emerald City and ask the Great Wizard of Oz." Yes, yes, yes. If anybody had power to send Dorothy back to Kansas, that would be the Wizard of Oz, if he felt like it. But where? "That yellow brick highway will take you to the Emerald City and Oz." Dorothy had not noticed the road paved with yellow brick until the Good Witch of the North pointed it out to her. "And now I will leave you with a parting gift, Dorothy. Swiftly, the good witch leaned forward and planted a kiss that made Dorothy tingle pleasantly through and through. "My kiss protects from hurt and harm. Goodbye! 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 Take the silver shoes!" Whirling around like a top, the good witch faded quickly into thin air, which, somehow, was just what Dorothy had expected. "Why, there's nothing but the shoes left!" Dorothy looked around for the Wicked Witch's silver shoes and found them empty. Their owner had dried up and blown away. They fit me perfectly. After trying on the silver shoes, Dorothy decided that they would be better for a long trip than her old worn ones. "I'd like to know how far it is to the Emerald City. Wouldn't you, Toto?" Ruff. Dorothy packed a lunch in a basket and started out, wearing her very best blue and white checked dress. "Hello. Could you help me get down?" What? She had walked for a mile or more when she heard a soft voice calling to her. She looked up and saw a scarecrow. I thought I heard you speak, but you're only a scarecrow." "Of course, but I need some help." The scarecrow said he would be much more comfortable if Dorothy would take away the pole that held him up. "Thank you. There's only one other thing I need to make me completely happy. Brains." "Oh?" At first, Dorothy was so amazed to see a scarecrow stand up and hear him talk that she hardly realized what he was saying. "You said you needed brains?" "Yes. When they made me, they filled my head with straw." The scarecrow explained that he would never know anything unless he could find some real brains to put into his head. "I have an idea. You see, I am going to the Emerald City." Dorothy had a sudden wonderful thought. Perhaps the Wizard of Oz could give the scarecrow some real brains. Why, that sounded like someone groaning. The scarecrow was delighted with Dorothy's idea and walked happily along, until a strange moan came out of the forest. "Oh, a Tin Woodman! Was it you that groaned?" "Yes. Please oil my joints." The Tin Woodman stood motionless, except for his jaws, which moved just a tiny bit, with a creaking noise. "You poor thing, they're all rusty." Dorothy found the Tin Woodman's oil can not far away, and oiled all his joints till he could move them freely. "Thanks, oh thanks! Now I only need one thing to make me completely happy." When she had finished, the Tin Woodman danced a jig without any of his joints so much as squeaking. He had only one complaint. "When the tinsmith made my chest, he forgot to put in a real heart." "Oh, I wonder!" He said the Wicked Witch had caused him to cut himself time after time until his whole body was replaced with tin. "You see, the Scarecrow and I are going to ask Oz for help. Why don't you?" The Tin Woodman thought Dorothy's idea was splendid. He said that until he had a heart, he could never fall in love. Roar! Eek! They had not gone far through the forest when a big lion bounded in front of them with a terrible roar. Growl! With a blow of his paw, the lion sent the poor Scarecrow flying. Luckily, the Scarecrow had no bones to break. Next, he sent the Tin Woodman sprawling, but his claws only slid off the tin without leaving even a scratch. "Stop! Don't you dare hurt Toto!" Bow, wow, wow. Brave little Toto then rushed forward to defend his mistress, and the lion opened his huge mouth as if to bite. "You big coward!" Oomph! Dorothy couldn't stand that. Forgetting her own danger, she slapped the lion so hard that he saw stars and squeaked with surprise. "Oh, you are a coward! What makes you so?" "I was born that way." The lion admitted, between sobs, that he acted fierce only to scare people, but really he was more scared than they.
If only I knew where I could get some courage. But it's no use.
Perhaps the Wizard of Oz.
Do you really think he might give me some courage?
It's worth asking him anyhow. The Cowardly Lion dried his tears and became hopeful. He apologized to the Scarecrow and the Woodman, and they went on. Oh dear, what shall we ever do now? Several miles farther on, they came to a river so wide and so swift that all of their hopes seemed to be lost.
What are you doing? Watch and you will see.
Only the Tin Woodman appeared not to worry. He began chopping down the tall trees which grew on the riverbank. Hooray, a raft! He trimmed off the branches and cut the trees into logs, from which he made a raft big enough to hold them all.
Wow, wow.
The raft was so big and heavy they couldn't move it until Dorothy tied the lion's tail to it with one of her hair ribbons. The Woodman had cut long poles with which they pushed the raft out into the middle of the river's swift current. Oh, I can't touch bottom!
We're spinning around!
But there they found themselves in trouble, for the current whirled them downstream as fast as a horse could run.
I suppose I've got to do it. Woodman, take hold of my tail.
Eh? You mean it? The Cowardly Lion shivered as if he were cold and spoke in a shaking voice. Only the Tin Woodman understood.
Hold on, and I'll try to tow you all.
Oh! The lion shivered harder and slipped overboard into the swift water. Dorothy thought he was very brave.
You made it! You made it!
The lion's powerful strokes finally brought raft and all safely to the other side, but it was a close call.
Tooral-lay, I'm a happy scarecrow today.
Soon they were walking back upstream along the riverbank thick with gorgeous poppies, acres and acres of poppies. Oh, how strong those poppies smell! None of them knew that the odour of acres of poppies could put a person to sleep, but they soon learned it.
What can we do? If we leave them here, they may never wake up.
Having no lungs to breathe with, the Scarecrow and the Tin Woodman were not affected. But they worried about their friends.
He's too heavy.
The Scarecrow and the Tin Woodman made a chair to carry Dorothy and Toto, but they could do nothing for the lion.
Scarecrow, see that fierce wildcat?
Chasing a poor little mouse! Do something! Once away from the poppies, Dorothy and Toto waked up, and then the Tin Woodman pointed excitedly.
Go on, you bad cat! Get out!
The Tin Woodman bounded forward, swinging his axe so that it frightened the wildcat, and the mouse ran straight past him. Oh, are you all right?
Yes, thanks to you, kind people. I am the queen of all the mice.
The little mouse wore a tiny crown on her head. She said that many of her subjects were close by.
You saved my life. Is there anything my people can do?
Oh, yes, Your Majesty, the lion. Dorothy told the Queen of Mice that their friend the Cowardly Lion would die unless he were rescued promptly.
But how? I know.
The Tin Woodman then told the Queen to have her subjects each bring a long piece of string and to hurry. What are you going to use those trees for?
Watch and see.
When the mice had gone to look for string, the Tin Woodman chopped down some more trees and cut them into logs. Oh, aren't you clever with your axe? By the time the first mice returned with their pieces of string, the Woodman had split boards and spokes and made a cart. When all the mice returned, they made a string harness and pulled the cart through the poppies to the sleeping lion. Oof!
Ugh!
Then with some difficulty, the Scarecrow and the Tin Woodman pushed and pried until they loaded the lion on. Then, although the load was heavy, the mice pulled with all their might, and the others helped push the cart to safety. "We just don't know how to thank your Majesty. We shall see you again." The Queen of the Mice assured Dorothy that if ever she needed help again, all she would need to do was to call. Toward sunset, following the yellow-paved road, they topped a hill to see a lovely green glow above shining towers. And there before their eyes, in all its splendour, was the beautiful Emerald City. "Stop! What is your business?" They kept on to the city gate, and there they were stopped. Dorothy explained that they wanted to see the Great Oz. "I can take you to his palace, but first you must put on these green spectacles. Turn around." Out of the green box at his side, the guardian of the gates took out a pair of spectacles for each of the party. "You must not remove these until you leave the city, by order of Oz." There were spectacles of every size, and they fastened with a tiny lock. Through them everything looked green. Even the faces of the people in the Emerald City looked green as Dorothy and her friends walked through the streets. "Strangers, to see the Great Oz. Step inside." When they reached the palace, a soldier said that he would take their message, for the Great Oz was very busy. "You all will wait here." The soldier made them wipe their feet on a green doormat, and then he led them into a green-furnished waiting room. "The Great Oz will see you tomorrow." Before long he returned with a pretty lady dressed in green, who said that they might stay overnight in the palace. "This room will be yours tonight, Dorothy." "It's lovely." The young lady took Dorothy up a green staircase and into a large bright bedroom, all furnished richly in green. Ding-a-ling-a-ling! Dorothy slept well that night, and in the morning a bell waked her to see her breakfast table appear beside the bed. "Good morning, Dorothy." After a delicious breakfast, Dorothy put on a pretty green silk dress that was hanging on a chair. Then the door opened. "There, we're just in time." Bong! As the lady was finishing Dorothy's bow, a musical gong rang out, the signal that Oz was ready to see Dorothy. She was ushered into an enormous room that glowed with soft green light and smelled of the most wonderful perfume. "I am Oz. Where did you get your silver shoes?" As Dorothy slowly advanced toward the huge person seated on the green throne, he spoke in a clear, pleasant voice. "The shoes used to—" Quite calmly, Dorothy told how she got the shoes and how the Good Witch of the North had protected her with a kiss. "Oh, please, Great Oz, can't you send me back home to Kansas?" "I can, but—" In solemn tones, Oz answered that before he would help her, Dorothy must kill the Wicked Witch of the West. "No, oh no, I don't want to kill anybody." "That is my final word." Desperately, Dorothy explained that the death of the other Wicked Witch was an accident, but Oz wouldn't listen. "Then you won't help me?" "Not till the Wicked Witch is dead." Dorothy couldn't keep back her tears as she left the throne room. She wouldn't kill anybody knowingly if she never got back to Kansas. "Did Oz help any of you?" "No." Later, when Dorothy rejoined her friends, she knew at a glance that they too must have been unsuccessful with Oz. "He told each of us the same thing." The Lion was angry and disgusted because Oz had asked them to do something he was afraid to do himself. "There's only one thing to do." He declared that he needed courage so badly that he would go alone if he had to and destroy the Wicked Witch. "I haven't the heart to kill even a Wicked Witch, but—" The Tin Woodman said he would go, and the Scarecrow said he didn't have the brains to think of anything better. "We'll all go together then." Dorothy couldn't bear to be parted from her friends, so she agreed, adding that perhaps the Wicked Witch might die of old age or something. When they found out that the way to reach the Wicked Witch was simply to walk west, Dorothy and her friends set out.
I wonder how far we will have to go."
All afternoon they walked toward the westering sun through endless fields of flowers and grew very tired. At last Dorothy and Toto and the Cowardly Lion lay down for a nap. The Scarecrow and the Tin Woodman didn't need any sleep.
"Strangers, I see them sleeping."
Now the Wicked Witch of the West had only one eye, but it could see for miles and miles with her powerful telescope. When she saw Dorothy's party afar off, she flew into a rage and blew upon a magic silver whistle that hung on her neck.
"Go and get rid of those strangers."
In answer to the silver whistle, a pack of great fierce wolves came running to obey the Wicked Witch's orders.
"Dorothy, wake up! Wake up, Lion!"
The Tin Woodman saw the wolf pack first, and the Scarecrow shook Dorothy and the Cowardly Lion awake, which was not easy.
"This is my fight." Mine too, I'm afraid."
When the Cowardly Lion saw the fierce beasts charging at them, he trembled all over, but did his best to act brave. All at once the pack surrounded them, but the Woodman knocked one down with every blow, and the Lion did even better. When the Wicked Witch saw all the wolves running away, she was furious. She raised her magic whistle and blew twice.
"What is your wish?" Bzzz. "Fly and sting those strangers!"
Immediately, a swarm of large black bees appeared. The Wicked Witch was so angry she could hardly give them orders. "Bees? Oh dear, what shall we do?"
"Quick, pull out my straw!"
The loud buzzing of the bees frightened Dorothy worse than the wolves had done, but the Scarecrow knew what to do.
"Come on, sting me!"
Quickly, he reached inside his shirt and pulled out enough straw to cover Dorothy and the others, while the Woodman taunted the bees. Seeing nothing else to attack, the whole swarm of bees blunted their stings on the Woodman's metal body, without hurting anything.
"You can all come out now!"
Then they flew away, unable to sting anything ever again, and out from under the straw came Dorothy, the Lion, and Toto. "If only you could put in some brains!" Gratefully, Dorothy helped to stuff the Scarecrow, saying that without brains he was brighter than all of them.
Zizzy, zuzzy, zick.
The Wicked Witch, however, had not given up. She put on her magic cap and called for the flying monkeys to help her.
Chitter-chatter, chitter-chatter.
Out of the sky came a chattering and a rush of many wings. The flying monkeys were answering the magic cap.
"What are your commands?" "Destroy all those strangers except the lion."
The Wicked Witch ordered the flying monkeys to bring the lion to her castle unharmed, so he could be put to work. "No! Stop, you horrid things!" Swifter than birds or bees, the monkeys descended on Dorothy and her friends. They seized the Woodman and the Scarecrow.
Geek, geek, chatter, chatter, chitter, chitter.
Soon the Scarecrow's straw stuffing was drifting down from the sky, leaving nothing but his poor old clothes.
Yip, 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 yip.
Two of the monkeys dropped the Tin Woodman into a rocky ravine, where he was so badly dented and bent that he could not move. A whole flock of the creatures roped the Cowardly Lion and carried him off in spite of his terrible roar.
"Aha! I can't harm you, little girl."
"Nor Toto!" When the leader of the flying monkeys saw the kiss of the Good Witch of the North on Dorothy's forehead, he paused.
"Where?" "To the Wicked Witch's castle."
But although the Good Witch's kiss protected Dorothy from actual harm, it did not keep the monkeys from carrying her off.
"The kiss protects her." "Worse luck, but I can use her."
They set her and Toto carefully down on the castle steps and flew away, Dorothy determined not to be afraid of the old witch.
"Inside with you!"
The Wicked Witch ordered Dorothy to get some water and scrub the kitchen floor, and Dorothy thought best to obey her.
"I'll have her silver shoes yet! Heh heh!"
When Dorothy had gone out to the well, the witch placed an iron bar across the threshold for the girl to trip over. Oh! And sure enough, Dorothy did trip, for the iron bar was a magic one, invisible to Dorothy's eyes. She didn't fall. "Give me my shoe, please."
"Oh no, heh."
The wicked witch's voice was so mean, and it was so plain she meant to keep the silver shoe that Dorothy grew angry. Quickly, she tossed the whole bucket of water over the witch, who screamed and threw a shocking fit. What's happening to you?"
"Water! It's the death of me!"
Right before Dorothy's eyes, the wicked witch began melting and running over the floor, like sugar when it is wet. "Dear me, that's the lion!" Soon all that was left of the Wicked Witch of the West was a puddle. Dorothy thought of cleaning it up when she heard a roar. "It's all right, I'll let you out." Dashing out into a fenced courtyard, she found the lion and set him free, because now there was no Wicked Witch to stop her.
"Thank you, little girl, for setting us free."
"My name is Dorothy." Dorothy had just let the lion out when a number of yellow Winkies, whom the Wicked Witch had ruled over, stood bowing before her. "Dorothy, is there anything we Winkies can do for you?" "Yes." Quickly, Dorothy told the Winkies that her great worry was for the brave Tin Woodman and the loyal Scarecrow.
"We will find them, wherever they are."
The Winkies lost no time. They divided into searching parties, promising to find the Scarecrow and the Tin Woodman for her.
"Oh no! Oh!
Don't cry, we'll repair him." They found the Tin Woodman that very same day and told Dorothy that their tinsmiths could make him like new again. "The Scarecrow! I'm so glad."
"So am I, Dorothy."
And before evening, the Scarecrow walked in, as large as life, to tell how they had found him in a tree and stuffed him with nice clean straw. "I wonder what's in here. Oh, a magic cap!" Since there was nothing now to keep Dorothy and her friends in the castle, Dorothy packed a lunch. Then, well, here are instructions. Inside the witch's magic cap, she read how to use it and summon the flying monkeys to do anything she asked. Zizzy, zizzy, zick! When she was sure that she had memorized them letter perfect, she put the cap on, stamped, and repeated the words.
"You may give us 3 commands. What is first?"
Almost instantly, the flying monkeys appeared. Dorothy ordered them to take her and her friends straight to the throne room of the Wizard of Oz. Almost before they knew what was happening, Dorothy's friends were snatched up into the air, with her and Toto. This time, Dorothy wasn't a bit frightened. Reaching the Emerald City, the flying monkeys circled down to the palace and into the throne room of the Great Oz through a high window. "Oz, where are you?" Dorothy found herself staring at the empty throne in wonder. Nothing in the room was green, as she had remembered it. Then, as the wing of a flying monkey knocked over a screen, Dorothy glimpsed a little bald-headed man who had been standing behind it. "Hello, where is Oz?"
"Why, I am Oz, the great and terrible."
When he spoke, Dorothy could hardly believe her ears. This little man was so harmless, almost sheepish-looking. "Why, you're not terrible at all."
"I know it. I've just been making believe."
He went on to say that he really was the Wizard of Oz, and looking like a giant was trickery, like the green glasses he had made them wear.
"You see, I have been many things. An actor, a balloonist, and a ventriloquist."
He said that the last time he had gone up in a balloon, the high winds had carried him to this strange land of Oz, where the people thought him a wizard. "Then you can't really help us?"
"Or give me a heart? Or me brains? Or me some courage?"
Ahem! When Dorothy saw that Oz was really a fake, she felt disappointed enough to cry, and so did her friends, but Oz smiled.
"I am a man of my word, and that cap tells me—" He said that since Dorothy's magic cap proved the Wicked Witch was dead, he would now grant all their wishes. "Drink this, and you will have courage." "Really?" First, he offered the Cowardly Lion a tumbler filled with coloured liquid, and assured him that it was pure courage. "Roar! I feel brave." "Of course you do. Now." Then, as the grateful lion roared, Oz filled the Scarecrow's head with something that looked like sawdust, but was labelled brains. "That's easier than sending me home." "Oh, now, don't worry." As he placed a soft silken heart inside the Tin Woodman, he told Dorothy he would take her back to Kansas himself, in a balloon. "How soon will the balloon be ready?" It took Oz and Dorothy 3 whole days to sew all the pieces of coloured silk together to make the balloon. At last it was done, and the Wizard of Oz had the balloon filled with hot air over a heap of glowing charcoal. "Quickly now, Dorothy!" Suddenly the balloon rose and began tugging at the basket. Dorothy had already said goodbye to her friends, but "Ruff! Ruff!" Just then Toto jumped out of Dorothy's arms to chase a passing cat, too quickly for Dorothy to stop him. "The wind! I couldn't help it!" "Oh, Toto, see what you've done!" When she looked up, the balloon was already high overhead and rising rapidly, with the Wizard of Oz in the basket. 3 minutes later, the balloon and the Wizard of Oz were growing small in the distance, quite out of control. "Don't cry, Dorothy. It may all be for the best." The Tin Woodman and the Scarecrow comforted Dorothy, remarking that perhaps the balloon would never have reached Kansas anyway. "How about the flying monkeys?" "Oh, I never thought of them." It was the once cowardly lion who came up with an idea that sounded wonderful and brought back Dorothy's hopes. "Zzz-zik! Chitter-chatter-ha-ha-ha!" No sooner had Dorothy summoned them than the flying monkeys arrived, to obey the wearer of the magic cap. "No! Psst! Dorothy!" But the monkey leader explained that his people could not leave the land of Oz. Dorothy almost wept. But the Scarecrow... "My new brains are working." But the Scarecrow had a sudden thought. Why couldn't Dorothy call on the Good Witch of the South? The flying monkeys could carry her there. "Dear Scarecrow!" Dorothy said that was a positively brilliant idea, and she would try it without losing another precious minute. "This is your third and last command." "Oh dear." The words were hardly spoken when the flying monkeys whiskered Dorothy up, but she wondered, what if the Good Witch refused? "Her castle! What is her name?" "Glinda." The land of Oz swept past beneath the monkey's powerful wings, and soon in the distance appeared a white marble tower. "Welcome, Dorothy. What can I do for you?" The Good Witch was a lovely young lady, and she seemed to know at once who Dorothy was and why she had come. "Oh, Glinda, could you, perhaps, send you home to Aunt Em?" Glinda, the Good Witch, smiled and said that all Dorothy needed to do was to click her silver shoes together and wish herself home. "And now, because I know you're in a hurry..." Then Glinda arose and kissed Dorothy goodbye. She said that the silver shoes would need only 3 steps to take her home to Kansas. "Please take me home. Please take me back to Aunt Em." So Dorothy clicked the silver shoes together 3 times and made her wish, holding little Toto tightly. And as quickly as one could take 3 fast steps, she and Toto were rolling on the grass of the Kansas prairie, not far from Aunt Em's new house. "Dorothy! Dorothy, it's really you!" She got to her feet to see Aunt Em and Uncle Henry running toward her, and oh, it felt wonderful to be home again. What do you think, Toto? But often, in the weeks that followed, Dorothy couldn't help wondering if the wizard ever landed in Kansas, or if somehow he got back safely to the land of Oz.